Hello, happy Tuesday. I hope that you are having a wonderful morning, a wonderful day so far. I hope that you are taking care of yourselves and making yourselves a priority today. And welcome to Health, my friend, the podcast. If you're new, welcome. If you're an oldie, welcome back. I appreciate all of you for being here. And I'm excited to talk with you today about something that's really important. So, I am leading a 4-month group coaching program right now, which has been so amazing. We are focusing all on your relationships with food, with exercise, and with yourself. And these clients are just my heart. Like, coaching clients is my favorite thing to do, whether it's one on one or group coaching. And this group coaching program has just been so much fun. It's 4 months long, and I'm doing a second round of it starting in June of this year. And so I want you to let me know if you're interested. If you struggle with making yourself a priority, if you struggle with disordered eating, or making your relationship with food healthy and consistent, if you struggle with your relationship with exercise, all of those things are what we're talking about in this program. And it's just so much fun, and you get the community of having other people in it with you. So I just wanted to mention that really quickly. If you're interested, please let me know. If you're listening to this podcast because of an email I sent you, you can just respond to that email, or you can always book a free call with me to talk through things, or just however you want to get in touch with me. But I wanted to mention that today because I had a group coaching call this morning, and we were talking about asking for help and making time for what you love. And I wanted to talk about that today because I have been struggling in this area, and I know that it's a struggle for a lot of people. It's really hard to ask for help, right? And it's really hard to make time for things that we want. Maybe you are always putting yourself on the back burner. Maybe you're always making sure everyone else is happy and everyone else is doing good, and you forget to take care of yourself. It is okay to ask for help, and it is okay to ask for what you want, and it is okay to make time for yourself and to make time for things that you love. Maybe you don't believe that yet, but it is okay. You are a valuable human being who has wants and needs and desires and passions. You are allowed to embrace those. You are allowed to make time for those. It can be really hard to ask for help, maybe because it feels too vulnerable, or maybe it's because you've asked for help in the past and nothing has happened, or you've been rejected. Maybe it's because you just are so used to putting everyone before you that asking for help seems selfish or not okay. If you struggle with asking for help, I would encourage you to start small. Start in a way that feels safe and comfortable for you, whether you need to send a text or write a letter or send an email. Sometimes, asking for help can look a little different than just face to face or blatantly saying, like, hey, I need help with this. But in order to know what you need help with, you have to check in with yourself. And if asking for help and asking for what you want is kind of a foreign idea or concept for you, this has to be super, super intentional. So, something that I like to do at the beginning of each week is just kind of check in, like, with myself and with my husband. Is there anything that I need help with? Is there anything that he needs help with this week? Talk about it, think about it, get it out there. But then on a day-to-day basis, I like to check in with myself and just kind of evaluate, like, how am I feeling? Do I need help with anything? Do I want Like, is there anything that I want more of or less of this week that I need to either be aware of myself or communicate to someone else? Checking in with yourself intentionally is how you're really going to start knowing, one, what you need help with, two, what you want, but also three, kind of giving you that permission to then take action on what you've thought about, right? So thinking about what you need help with and then actually asking for help is the next big step. The same thing goes with figuring out what you want. You're allowed to have wants and you're allowed to ask for those. You are allowed. So, thinking about, on a weekly or daily basis, what do I want? What do I want this week? What do I want today? If it's something that you can fulfill for yourself, make the time to do it. Make the time, because you have to make time for yourself. If it's something that you need help with, go ask for what you want. We all are struggling with different things. We all are in our own journeys. We're all, sometimes really filled up, like 100% level, and then sometimes we're really depleted, like 20% level, negative 10% level, whatever it may be. So sometimes when you ask for help or ask for what you want, that person is not in a position to fulfill that want or need. If that's the case, take a breath. Remember that they are a human being who's struggling with their own things. Figure out if it's something that you can do for yourself, or figure out if you need to go ask someone else for help. For example, if I use this example this morning in my coaching, like if I am just super busy and overwhelmed and stressed and I really need help with like cleaning the dishes or cleaning the kitchen, and so I asked for my husband for help, but he also is very stressed and busy and has a crazy work week and does not have time to do the dishes or clean the kitchen. That's okay. It's my responsibility then as to what I'm going to do with that. So am I going to ask someone else? Am I going to like hire a cleaner to come clean for me? Or am I going to be okay with letting the dishes pile up in the sink and letting the kitchen stay dirty for a few extra days, and just remembering that, this is life and it's okay and the dishes can stay in the sink for a few days? It's some give and take. It's not always like cut and dry or super, specific how it's going to look. But the important thing is asking for what you want, asking for what you need. And then if that doesn't go quite as you had planned, pivoting and coming up with a solution that's going to help you regardless. I had another thought and I totally lost it. Dishes. Well, anyway, so asking for that help, asking for what you need, and then if it's not, if it's not happening, figuring out what will help you anyway, or help you in a different way. This is driving me crazy that I can't remember what I wanted to say. And then, yeah, that's just like asking for what you want, asking for what you need, super, super important. And then making time for what you love. So, a lot of times, because we're conditioned to put ourselves on the back burner or make sure everyone else is happy or keep everything going, it can be hard to make time for what we love, right? Like it can be really hard to take time for yourself, to slow down, to stop being productive, to actually take time to enjoy your life. And so this is really important though, because making time for yourself is like one of the most important things that you can do for yourself, for your mental health, for your physical health, for all of it. Making time for what you love is also so important because it fills you up mentally, emotionally. It brings you that joy. It helps you to feel happy and at peace and content with your life. Um, the things that you love and that fill you up are so important to add into your life and to make time for. Sometimes people struggle with this because they don't know what brings them joy. They don't know what fills them up. And if that's you, I would encourage you to try to make a list. Like make a list of some things that you love, make a list of some things that always leave you feeling happy. Make a list of some things that leave you feeling just like refreshed and energized. If that's still hard, I encourage my clients to think back to when they were a kid or when they were younger and they had all of these dreams and these things that they loved doing and that brought them joy. Maybe you used to love ice skating and now you never ice skate anymore. Maybe you need to go ice skate again. Or maybe you used to love to color or draw or paint, and now you don't really do anything artistic anymore. Maybe you need to add in some art to your life. Um, and then those dreams, like maybe you always wanted to do something or you always dreamed about doing something, but you never got to do it. Go try it and see if it brings you joy. See if it's something that fills you up and makes you happy. Thinking through those different things, making a list, trying out new things, finding out what makes you happy, and writing them down can be really helpful because on those days when you need some time for yourself, you want to take some time for yourself, you want to do something that's going to fill you up, that's going to bring you joy, but you just don't know what to do. Then you can look at that list and you can be like, oh yeah, this really makes me happy, or this really makes me or brings me joy. So I'm going to go do that. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be complicated, but making a list and having those things that you can look back at and making time for those things, whether it's a few minutes every day or like 20 minutes a couple days a week, just some type of small, joyful, fulfilling activity or moment that brings you peace, that brings you joy, that fills you up and leaves you feeling refreshed can be so incredibly helpful. I have been doing a very bad job of this lately. I have been very, very, very busy with work and with just all of the things, all of the life things, and building a business. And it's just been go, 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 one thing after the other. And I have not been doing a very good job of making that time for myself, making that time to rest, making that time to pause, making that time to do the things that refresh me and fill me up and bring me joy. And I have been feeling it. I tell you, if you start to make that time for yourself, you will notice such a big difference. Making time for yourself helps to just regulate your nervous system, helps to calm your mind, helps to refresh you physically and mentally, helps to give you energy. There are so many benefits from making that time for yourself. And I have been tired and emotional and just like feeling overwhelmed and worn out. And part of it is because I have not been making that time for myself. We're all busy. We all have things going on, but you can make that time for yourself even if you're really busy. It's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to look the same. It's not always going to be conventional or the easiest thing to do, but it's important and it's helpful. I am committing and holding myself accountable. One of the reasons I'm talking about this today, to get back to taking that time for myself. And for me, a lot of times that looks like taking an hour or two in the morning before I get into work, because for me, once I start working for the day, I have a really hard time shutting my brain off and shutting it down before I'm actually like done for the day. I'm always thinking of all of the things that need to get done, all of the things that are on my to-do lists. Like there's always something on my mind, someone I need to message, a call I need to make, whatever it is. So for me, starting in the morning with an hour or an hour and a half, somewhere in there, that I just take to breathe and regulate my nervous system and fill myself up, listen to a good podcast, read a good book, do some yoga, something, go for a walk in nature, something that fills me up is so helpful for me. So I'm going to get back to that. And if you're listening to this or watching this, you can definitely hold me accountable. You can ask me how it's going. It's so important, y'all. It is so important. And I notice when I make that time for myself, I have more energy, I have more focus, I get more done, even though I'm working for a less amount of time, because I'm just focused and I've taken that time to refresh myself. When you're tired, everything seems worse. When you're tired and you don't take time for yourself, emotions are higher, everything feels harder. You can't think as clearly. You can't knock things off your to-do list quite as well. So making time for yourself, so important. Another thing I want to circle back to, because I remember what I was thinking about and wanted to say about asking for help. So, have you ever experienced where you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and you realize it's because you feel like you've been doing everything, or you're always doing something and you really want help with it, or you really need help with it, but you haven't asked, and so you start to feel resentful towards the person that you should ask for help, but you haven't asked for help yet? I get this way. Like I will start to think about like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all of this or whatever, and I'll start to get like irritated or resentful because I'm doing it all, even though that's really not the case. But when I'm feeling stressed and overwhelmed, if I'm constantly doing something, then it can start to feel that way. I start to feel resentful. I'm sure some of you can relate. But if you don't ask, that person does not know that you need help. And that person does not know that you're feeling this way. And it's not on that person, it's on you. And so when you are feeling stressed, when you are feeling overwhelmed, first, I want you to check in with yourself like, is there something that I need? Is there something that is going on here that I need to ask for help with? Am I feeling overwhelmed because there's something that I need? Or am I just saying yes to way too many things and I'm wearing myself out? Do I need to say no to something? Do I need to stop putting quite as much on my plate? But then also, when you start to feel resentful or start to feel stressed, if there is that thing that you need help with, ask for help. Because if you don't, you're just going to start to feel that resentment. The other person is not going to know that you need help, and that's on you. Like those feelings are okay, but you don't have to live with them, and you can ask for help. And um you know, like it's on you. If you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and you need help, but you're not asking for it, then that stress and that overwhelm, you're almost doing it to yourself because you're not actually asking for help or setting those boundaries that you need. Some tough love, that's not always the easiest thing to hear. And there are many, many different reasons for being stressed and overwhelmed. And I'm not saying that those aren't valid, but it is important to take care of yourself. And that's the whole point of this. It is so important to take care of yourself. And so, whatever that looks like for you, asking for help, making time for yourself, setting boundaries, not saying yes to everything, all of those things are super important and a big part of taking care of yourself. So, I am going to take care of myself today. After lunch, I am going to work out and take some time to rest and either read a good book or listen to a good podcast, and probably do a meditation and just let myself relax a little and regulate the nervous system. I would encourage you, if you are feeling overwhelmed or tired or worn out today, do something for yourself. If you need help with anything, please reach out. But I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday or whatever day you're listening to this on, and I will see you next time. Bye.